Have you ever tried to sculpt something out of clay? You start with a great idea, but then you make a wrong move, get frustrated, and suddenly you squish it down into a messy, ugly lump. Thousands of years ago, a prophet named Isaiah wrote about that exact feeling, but he applied it to our everyday lives. When we make harmful, selfish choices, the Bible calls those actions sins. Sin describes the act of taking the beautiful, intended shape of our lives and crushing it with our own hands. The book of Isaiah, specifically chapter 59, points out the true cost of these messes. They create a hard barrier. Our wrong choices separate us from God. Isaiah describes the result of that separation as a feeling of total blindness. Without God's light, we end up having to grope along a wall in complete darkness, stumbling around even in the middle of the day. People try to fix this mess on their own, trying to do good deeds to balance the scales. But Isaiah writes that those human attempts are completely useless. He compares them to wearing filthy rags. Our bad choices ruin the clay, and they leave us stuck behind a wall in the dark. We have absolutely no way to fix the mess ourselves. But that is exactly when a new light breaks through. The text tells us that God looked down and saw the reality of the situation. He saw that no human being was capable of fixing this massive problem on their own. He did not just walk away in disgust. Instead, he steps directly into the darkness himself to rescue his people. God gears up for a rescue mission. Isaiah describes him putting on spiritual armor, starting with a breastplate of righteousness, doing what is perfectly right and fair. Then he puts on the helmet of salvation, showing he is perfectly equipped to save us. When humanity is totally helpless, God takes the lead. He arrives perfectly equipped to break through the darkness we created. Why would God go through the trouble of fighting for people who keep making identical mistakes? The answer comes from the people themselves in Isaiah chapters 63 and 64, when they realize who is rescuing them. They cry out, "You, Lord, are our Father." A good father doesn't throw his kids in the trash when they break the rules or make a giant mess of their room. He helps them clean it up. God feels our pain deeply. Isaiah 63 tells us that in all their distress, God was distressed right alongside them. When we hurt, He hurts. This rescue mission is driven by a father's unconditional love for his children. He saves us because He loves us, not because we earned it. Let's look back at that messy lump of clay from earlier. Now it has been picked up by someone much bigger and much stronger. Isaiah 64 gives us a beautiful picture for this. The people say to God, "We are the clay, you are the potter." A master potter doesn't look at a squished lump of clay and see garbage. He sees beautiful material that is completely ready to be remade. God patiently takes our mistakes and forgives us. He puts us back on the wheel, reshaping our lives, smoothing out those rough edges. The verse finishes by saying, "We are all the work of your hand." Every single person is God's highly valued art project. Sin makes us lose our shape, but God's grace means we are always allowed back on the potter's wheel to be made new. The rescue doesn't end with a single repair. God stays with us instead of leaving us to struggle with the clay on our own. In chapter 59, God gives a guarantee that lasts forever. He promises to stay close, putting His Spirit within us to guide our words and help us choose a better path. You will inevitably make mistakes again. When that happens, you don't have to hide behind a wall in the dark. You can let the potter keep molding you. You are never a ruined, hopeless mess. You are simply beautifully unfinished clay, held perfectly safe in the hands of a loving Father.